So I'm in the river today. It wasn't moving too fast. It was super still when I got here, where like just completely like reflects. And it was so beautiful, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in today. I have been thinking about things, as I always seem to be doing. No, I love it. Thinking about self-love, thinking about self-compassion, thinking about being a mirror in the way, like, it took so long to get to be this mirror in this way, but to be able to reflect the goodness of others to themselves. I always just think, like, if you see something you like, you have it, just explore it. If you see something you don't like and just really like, either, we're not a vibe, stay away from me, and or look at it, look at that in yourself and be like, or look at it in the history of maybe family members or friendships or things like that. But just yeah, so I was thinking about that. I was thinking about self-love, and I was thinking about the privilege of being able to live in the moment and being able to make decisions from that perspective. That is one of the biggest gifts that I've ever received, right? So that comes out now when we're talking. I'm obviously considering you who are watching and listening as I'm recording this, as I decide to reach into my pocket, and share, So thank you for being on the other side of this, because I don't really feel alone. This is usually when I'm just like, this is nice. Maybe I'll share it. A lot of times I'm just like, this is nice. I'm it's mine, in the art and anything I make or anybody I see next time I see them is benefiting from that. So it continues. It's mine at the beginning, but I always say first and final draft. So it's mine, and then the energy I'm speaking of when I'm like, oh, I like things that I see or things that I get insight about, things that I, might have thought about like 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's what that was. Or, so it's like, I guess I'm just saying how I'm thinking and what I'm thinking and how grateful I am. And to be in a state of gratitude in a different, okay, this is what I was going to say. Sometimes when we change, sometimes when I change often, but I just feel like I did a major one. And they all feel major, but I'm always ascending, and I feel like we all are. I feel like this is a planet of masters in training, ascended masters, so anyways, I think about sometimes what to share and what not to share, when to share and when not to share, make the video, hold the video, have it come out another time. And then I'm like, sometimes I'm like the ones that you've seen, obviously, I'm like, no, let's just just put it up there. But it's something that I always question and ask myself. So again, what I do and how I release things are deliberate. And I guess I was just thinking about love and being loved and feeling loved, and what is that like. And for me, the foundation of my existence has been love, and it was always about getting to peace. And so the peace is the umbrella. The love, I guess the love and the peace, you could consider them married or interchangeable, like binary stars, like that. In our emoji system right now, I have a Apple iPhone, but there's like this heart with a kind of like another heart near it, and there's like this arrow kind of. So it looks like revolving hearts to me, and I take it to be as eternal love or love forever. But sometimes I look at it as stars, like we're gonna always be near each other. Sometimes it's gonna look like we're far away, and sometimes it's gonna look like we're close. That's me putting myself in the perspective of the pink little stars in the emoji. So I'm thinking about love from many different perspectives and thinking about how I feel loved and how I feel comfortable in my relationships. And I'm really very much more comfortable with ideas. And so I kind of want to give you an example. It's hard to, I'm going to have to come back to it. It's hard to describe. Okay, that might be it's not that great of one, but when I say it's hard to describe, I'm giving myself a pause because these are things that I can't put into words yet. And I might not ever be able to, but there are other mediums of art. And hopefully that it's hard to describe leaves space for the listener to have a pause or to think, well, that's not, I think I know what you mean. And just to fill in the blank, right? So my relationship sometimes is not personal. It could be to the phrase hard to describe. What is my relationship with that phrase hard to describe? And I just explained a little bit of what my relationship to that was. So it gets to be circular, but it's not, because it's begetting. It's like a blossoming flower that kind of keeps blossoming. It's for me. So there's no real going back. Just like the river, like it's the flow is there. The current's going to be different every day. The wind's going to be different. I'm going to see different things. It's just not the same, and that's how I feel. So I think about the past a lot, but from this perspective, and from a perspective of even tomorrow, I'll have more insights in it. Things will click together, or I'll throw things out, or they'll make more sense. I can weave them together into another story or into another understanding or another analogy, another way of healing, another way of connecting with another when I meet them and they tell me their story, because people still share with me. Even if it's briefly, there'll be that connection, right? So that's what I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about what's the most comfortable way for me to feel loved and feel free to be myself and be a contributing member of society. Like, not so much a recluse, not so much a hermit, not so much a, even though that's part of me, and for me, it is to speak this way in an honest way and have people listening. So one day maybe I will do a TED Talk, or one day I will maybe do a podcast. If people have podcasts, maybe they'll have me on their podcast. Maybe I'll speak at universities one day, or I guess people don't have to go out to that anymore. I think there might be other ways, like Zoom or whatever video. I'm going to use the wrong words, but anybody who knows Zoom, even if it's archaic, when you're watching this, it means a video conferencing where people can be connected all over and they don't have to be in the same space. So virtual space. It's okay. So anyways, like things like that. Expecting things to last. That's one of the things of our selfie culture. And when we were able to get this technology in our hands this way, these are our archives. We are responsible for them. We put things out. We want to impress. We're telling stories. We're telling stories about our ideal self, or what we think that will be the most loved self, and all these things, right? I'm saying we because I feel that's the collective of Earth. Myself, I use it as a tool to build and to learn and to grow, but use it as almost like the same thing as a chiseling of into stone back in the day when people wrote their stories and their words. I used it as that. I used it as and it was just in the internet. What's that? It's just in the clouds, So that's another reason why I go out into nature and just be with the clouds over me. Our language, what we did with it was very similar to what we know. And one of the things that I've talked about is that when something made it to Earth, or to my acknowledgement, that was something that I knew that we could do psychically or knew previously. When it got to the technology, I knew that it was available all the way around. For instance, this is the easiest example is texting. We could text and calling, I guess, with someone. You can text and call anybody in the world be in real time, be in your own time zones, your own space and time. It just was like, okay, that because it showed up in our physical reality, I realized that, or in my opinion, I thought, okay, that information has been transferred over. This is manifest. We already knew that we have psychic phenomena. We can space-time jump, multidimensional beings. We all know this. Anybody who has heard third dimensional really knows that they're multidimensional. So, just to be able to physically interact that way and not be freaked out about it because, oh, this is just technology and this is just for, it's just like, no, these thoughts manifest in a way that was going to be good for the collective at the time that it was manifest. And we change and we grow, right? Things change. And I don't know why I don't have a Nokia. I'm in the US. Why can't I have a Nokia? Anyways, because I'm thinking about technology that's good and lasting and built to, with confidence, man. And that's not with, I'm going to milk these. It's the confidence of, I've made something steady. And then, in my opinion, I'll bring it back to myself now as a creator. In my opinion, making something steady means that from now on, I can make anything else because I have this steady base. So, I don't know if Nokia as a company felt that way, where they made something and they can take their time making improvements. I don't want to be like that, but they can do something completely different because they made something really fun. Okay, so anybody who's made something really great, anybody who's made anyways, I'm thinking about a lot of kitchen gadgets that have made things a lot easier for people. Yeah, when I have a kitchen, even though I'm not much of an eater, I want to cook for people. So when I have a kitchen, I'm going to get the kitchen supplies that I've been wanting and revel and praise the people who spend time inventing them to make things. It's beautiful art. It's a progression. Yes, we could do things with a certain knife, but there are now things that just make it makes it almost like a toy. Like, I don't know, I just had the idea of Play-Doh. It makes it, because I was thinking about the avocado slice, because I be having a hard time with a knife doing the avocado, trying to get the pit out, forget how to do it properly, but with that slicey thing, you put it in and you go like that, so I guess I'm just thinking about improvements, and I'm thinking about different ways of teaching, different ways of thinking, so stimulating creative thinking, the thought process of creativity, trying to do it verbally. It's so much prettier in a painting. And I'm interested what the music will sound like. I'm interested in what kind of music I'm making. And I'm looking forward to sharing that. So I think that this is it. I feel like I wanted to say something else, but this is what came out. So, my heart's like pumping strongly. I was gonna say like a lion. Warm, like reddish orange. And just nice. It's not, it's like, and it's not like regular, but it's warm and it's peaceful. And I'm sharing that.